Hi, welcome back to Live and Breathe Horses at Centro Equestre La Luz. So today we have part 3 and we're going on with our words of wisdom from Nuno and classical principles of the art of training horses. So today we are looking at the halt, the Reinback and the half pirouette at walk. Now, there's so much information in here and it's so condensed and it's only a page and a bit. I think I'm kind of going to have to more or less read it all. It's just not, there's so much in it and it's so clear and concise. It's not something I'm going to even attempt to summarise or so excuse the looking down. I know this book really well but not quite off by heart enough to get it off pat on camera. So here we go. Until this moment the halt was a stop, where one was preoccupied solely with the calmness and immobility of the horse and to achieve mental relaxation. This was not a square halt. So mental relaxation of your horse, very important. Starts with ourselves, of course. While asking for some halts during the shoulder in, traverse and renvers, this is what we've been talking about last week's, the horse begins to stop more rounded. Now, after he's acquired a certain roundness and has become lighter in the exercises of shoulder in and half pass, he is nearly ready to halt square and not uneven. It's precisely after a few half passes towards the long side that the horse is sufficiently prepared to ask for a square halt. How does one ask for these halts? The rider, sitting deeply in his saddle and with his reins at a suitable length, with the elbows near his body, will halt the horse while pushing with the buttocks and the back. The rider's arms, through this movement, follow the upper body and do not do unrelated movements. Thus, the rider and his body in balance uses his weight on the horse's hindquarter and causes the horse to halt squarely. So, you know, that's that thing about arms here and the whole body and the arms is one thing, that the arms aren't doing different things than our body. And of course, to cause the horse to halt squarely with our body, we have to be sitting squarely. So that's, again, starts with us. So when the horse stops, do not forget to relax the fingers without losing soft contact so the horse doesn't drop his head. Move forward from the halt on the same soft contact and go straight ahead. So this is where we get into intelligent hands, you know. The arms are relaxed but strong, elbows by the sides as he said, but we can give and take with our fingers, you know, and a little opening of the fingers just as a reward and then a little movement of the fingers just to keep that contact going. So the legs of the rider remain around and close to the horse. Later, the horse will learn to halt with the effect of the proper use of the aids and sometimes with the spur at halt. So increasing the horse's acceptance of the aids, and that is submission. So to halt on the spur, I mean, we used to practice that with Miguel, but that's a whole other subject, you know, and this is, you know, people have the idea the spur is an expression of strength and it's cruel. But again, it's how you use things, you know. Nuno talked about a knife being a scalpel, you know, saving lives in the hands of a surgeon and murdering in the hands of a madman. It's the same tool. So it's, you know, to halt the horse with a very light touch of the spur. But anyway, that's probably not something we're going to be tackling at the moment. I can't use spurs because my legs are so bloody long that they're this much below the horse's belly and I have to turn my heel up so much, you know, even on Morisco, and he's quite big and he's got a really deep girth. It's not easy. Anyway, when the horse will stop square on his hindquarters lightly from a walk or a trot and moves forward in the same walk or trot, also light, and without altering the position of his head or neck, it's time to start to ask for the rein back. So how does one proceed? When the horse halts lightly and very square and the legs of the rider for a fraction of a second touch, followed by the back and the wrist and the reins, the horse gives the first suspicion of a rein back. Immediately pat him and drop the reins and allow him to walk forward freely at first. Later, when the horse knows and executes easily a few steps of the Reinback, he must go forward through the seat and the legs. Remain straight and returning to the same gait and rhythm he was in before the halt. So I think that one very important point to take out of all that is that as soon as you get a suspicion of it, so that's as soon as the horse decides, oh, he's going back, or he shifts his weight a tiny bit, before he even moves the foot, that's the moment to release. So if he puts his hindquarters to either side at the Reinback, it's by using the opposite rein to put the shoulders in the same line as the hindquarters that one straightens him. If he leaves the wall, perform a circle, return to the same place and the necessary number of times until he remains straight along the wall. So that's an important point. You know, if you start trying to move the hindquarters around, you just get more wiggle. So it's much easier to move the shoulders in line with the hindquarters to help the horse stay straight. And of course here he's talking about using the wall or the fence to help him be straight. So later, from a walk to a halt, rein back 2 or 3 steps and then go forward in the same gait. At first at the wall, later on the diagonals and the centre line, and again later in circles without deviating from the line of the circle. Later again, do the same at the trot. It's very important in these 2 exercises, at the walk and the trot, that the rein back be easy and slow, and that the horse must be prompt in the move forward from the halt. So this, we actually did a video about this with Morisco, with the rein back on serpentines and curves and on a circle. You know, this was, I think, from a Ray Hunt thing, but you see it's all linked. Good horsemanship is just good horsemanship, whether it's classical or what people think is Western. It's actually all the same. So this on a circle, you know, rein back, halt, stop, rein back a bit more on a circle. Okay, so last part today, the half pirouette. When the horse is relaxed in the preceding exercises, begin to ask the half pirouette. On the long side, ask a half halt and alternate the weight of the buttocks and also the action of the legs with each step of the horse. If the rider's hand is not hard and does not block the forehand, the horse will execute a half pirouette without blocking the hindquarters. Here is yet another stage in the horse's training that's finished. Little by little, the horse will round himself. His weight remains less on the forehand and more on the hindquarters, of course remaining very light. As a result of all these movements and the attention of the rider to have a light contact, and by the continuing tightening and relaxing of the fingers, the horse begins to sustain more his movement and to collect himself. And this is the beginning of cadence. So you see all these exercises, this lateral work, it's not for the sake of doing it. That kind of summarises the whole point, isn't it? It's this goal of shifting the weight back and having the horse take his weight more on the hindquarters with a round supported back, which means he can carry our weight and be less burdened and stay more healthy in his body and in his mind as well, I guess. So thank you very much for joining me today. I'll look forward to see you next week for cadence and extensions. And yeah, keep tuning into the light and have a great day.